So I've decided I'm covering the Lucy Letby case. Now, if you've seen my videos before, especially the Nicola Bulley ones, my videos are quite different to everyone else's because I don't chase the BS speculation side of things. I don't clickbait. I just go for whatever information I can verify as to be true or most likely true and then put them in. Anything that's speculation, anything that I can't confirm, I either don't mention it or I leave it till the end of the video. And I'll warn you, if you're doing your own research, be fully aware that there is so many fake news things going on. I saw some that talked about brothers and sisters. She ain't got any brothers and sisters. We know this because a neighbour of the parents said that she was an only child. And just tons of websites that claim things casually that you would just believe that aren't true. And just because this is a high profile case doesn't mean our usual disclaimer don't go out. This is a true crime case. It involves real people, and then real people have real families. So although I do want you to share it, and I do want you to comment, please be sensitive as you do so. And something I'm going to put forward a lot throughout this. Let's remember, at this time, Lucy Letby protests her innocence. She's pled not guilty. So no matter what information comes to light, we have to respect that. I am a massive believer in innocence until proven guilty, and she's claiming innocence. So with that super long introduction out of the way, let's get on to find out who Lucy Letby is. Lucy Letby was born on the 4th of January 1990 in Hereford, England. As I've just said, she was an only child. She attended comprehensive school in Hereford, can't be 100% sure which one, and then she enrolled at the University of Chester to study nursing. This, by the way, is apparently a profession that she'd always told people she wanted to do. She's something that it was a dream job, if you like. While at the University of Chester, studying to be a nurse, she spent time at the neonatal unit in the Countess of Chester Hospital. She graduated in 2011 with a degree in nursing. After that, she did some extra training in a work placement at Liverpool's Women's Hospital. Once that placement had finished, she went back and got a job at the Countess of Chester Hospital, which is obviously in Chester, Countess of Chester. Lucy, who were obviously very keen to learn, we can see she's very keen to learn, she was doing extra courses whenever they came along. She had a completely clean record with the Nursing and Midwifery Council. In other words, she'd never done anything wrong, she'd never been caught doing anything wrong. She was just a good worker in their eyes. She'd never caught their attention for anything. Lucy was even the face of a fundraising campaign to raise a few £1 million to build a state-of-the-art neonatal unit for the hospital. And at that time, on the 23rd of March 2013, Lucy appeared in an article with the Standard newspaper. The article was entitled "Neonatal Unit has provided vital support for little Erin." At the bottom of the article there was a staff profile. The profile was about Lucy Letby, and this is where the world famous image of Lucy holding the baby girl outside of her while she's in nurse's overalls, that is where this image comes from. And it's not a very big section, so I'm going to read it out to you. They asked, "How long have you worked here?" "I qualified as a children's nurse from the University of Chester in 2011, and I've been working on the unit since graduating. I've also worked at the unit as a student nurse during the 3 years of training." What would a typical day in the neonatal unit involve? "My role inquires caring for a wide range of babies requiring various levels of support. Some are here for a few days, others for many months, and I enjoy seeing them progress and supporting their families. I am currently undergoing extra training in order to develop and enhance my knowledge and skills within the intensive care area, and I have recently completed a placement at Liverpool's Women's Hospital. What will having a bigger neonatal unit mean to you? I hope the new unit will provide a greater degree of privacy and space for parents and siblings." Jordan Sands knew Lucy through one of his former girlfriends, and he was asked about Lucy, and he said, "She's quite awkward and geeky, but seemed like a kind-hearted person." Now, I do want to point out that Jordan Sands knows Lucy through a former girlfriend. She isn't a former girlfriend. Some articles claim that they were. That's not true. Another friend that asked not to be named by the reporters said that Lucy was an amazing person. So in 2016, Lucy Letby had been working at the Countess of Chester Hospital for about 5 years. And it was in July 2016 that their mortality statistics for the neonatal ward were just too high. Now, the statistics going back to 2009 is as followed. In 2009, the ward had 3 deaths. In 2010, they had 1 death. In 2011, the year that Lucy joined, they had 3 deaths. In 2012, they had 3 deaths. In 2013, they had 2 deaths. In 2014, they had 3 deaths. But then the number jumps drastically in 2015 when they had 8 deaths. And still a very high number in 2016 with 5 deaths. And it was 2015 and 2016 that were in question. Everyone wanted to know why there were excess deaths. There were unexplained deaths and they needed to be explained. So, desperate for answers about these unexplained deaths, the Countess of Chester Hospital commissioned an independent review of the ward, or of the unit. In the same month, the hospital also stopped treating severely premature babies. Basically, any baby that were more premature than 32 weeks, any babies in need of intensive care or high dependency cots were sent to a different hospital. Now, the independent review was finished in November 2016, and the Royal College of Paediatricians and Healthcare were unable to explain the deaths. But the consultants did notice similarities between the deaths. The full PDF report is linked in the description for anyone who wants to read it, but I'll warn you, it's 31 pages long, and it's really not that readable. It's actually a scanned copy, so it's not that easy on the eyes, and that kind of stuff is just information after information, and a lot of it isn't always that relevant, if you know what I mean. But the review did make 24 recommendations for improvements, and the hospital claims to have undertaken them. It highlighted a failure to investigate the cases. Now, I did read somewhere that in the report it mentioned that using CCTV to watch around the ward would make nurses feel uneasy, feel like they're being watched. Now, it says that came from the report, but I didn't see that in the report, so it probably is there because it were a reputable news outlet that reposted that, but I haven't really put it in as fact because I couldn't see it. But in December, the hospital issued patients and staff electronic tracking wristbands in a bid to monitor free beds. And then it's reported that an NHS source apparently told the media that Lucy was moved on to admin duties in late 2016. And they said they moved her into admin. They didn't move her into another nursing position. If they did think she was suspicious, why didn't they suspend her? In May 2017, 7 months after that report was filed, the hospital was still unable to explain the deaths and was still concerned. So they went to the police and asked for an investigation. The police force were looking into the deaths of 15 babies between June 2015 and June 2016. That were later expanded to 17 deaths and 15 non-fatal collapses. Another year on, a year's worth of investigating later, on the 3rd of July 2018, Lucy Letby, who was now aged 28-year-old, was arrested at her home. The police arrested her on the suspicion of 8 counts of murder and 6 counts of attempted murder. That number does change as time goes on. Deputy Inspector Paul Hughes, who was in charge of the investigation for Chestershire Police, said, "This is a highly complex and sensitive investigation, and as you can appreciate, we need to ensure we do everything we possibly can to try to establish with detail what has led to these deaths and collapses. As a result of our ongoing inquiries, we have today arrested a healthcare professional in connection with the investigation. While this is a significant step forward, it is important to remember that the investigation is very much active and ongoing." Ian Harvey, who is the hospital's medical director, said that he was confident that the hospital was running safely. "We are continuing to support Chestershire Police with their ongoing investigation. Asking the police to look into this was not something we did lightly. But we need to do everything we can to understand what has happened here and get the answers we and the families so desperately want. The Countess is now equivalent to a level 1 special care baby unit, and we are confident that the unit is safe to continue in its current form." Liverpool Women's Hospital, where Lucy Letby did the bit of training after she graduated, they also made a statement saying that they were working with police. And that is quite an high-profile hospital as well. Wayne Rooney, the footballer, his children were born in that hospital. One Born Every Minute, the TV programme, that was filmed there for season 7 and season 8. So it is quite a profile hospital, so it is quite a big thing for them to come out and say. So now Lucy Letby is arrested. She hasn't been charged, she's just been arrested. The police have really got to get the evidence. They've really got to pin her down because they can only hold her for a certain amount of time. And I think it's 24 hours usually. And they wasted no time. The day that they arrested her, they were at a house, they were searching the house, extremely detailed. They were going through it with a fine comb. And at this point, this is the only reason the media clicked on to who had been arrested. Because the police hadn't said it was Lucy, but the media saw that this house was being searched, and they went, yeah, that's owned by Lucy Letby. She's a nurse at the Countess hospital. Oh my God, we know what's happening. So this house they were searching, she'd bought in 2016. She lived there with her 2 cats, and it was about a mile away from the hospital. If it interests you, because the media like to report it, the house was apparently £180,000 when she bought it. I think in the grand scheme of what this is about, it's a bit irrelevant, but ayo. The general census of her neighbours that she'd lived near for 2 years, with her, she kept herself to herself. One neighbour said, I think the young lady has lived there for a couple of years, but no one seems to know her very well. I only have seen her coming in and out of the house. Another neighbour said, she's a bit of an enigma. No one seems to know her. Now, her parents were still living in Hereford, and the police were also searching their house at the same time they were searching Lucy's house. One of their neighbours said, Lucy is so dedicated to her job. She just spent a week in Torquay on holiday with her parents. She's an only child, and I believe she got her job as a nurse from her studies at Chester University. I'm really close to them. I mean, we house sit for each other when the other one goes away. I knocked earlier but got no response, and it makes me upset knowing I can't help them. So like I said, the police can only hold you for 24 hours unless they're charging you. And it had been 2 days and Lucy still hadn't been let out. And it was at this point that they announced that they'd got special permissions to keep Lucy in. And this is something that they have to apply for. It goes up the ladder and then they either get permission or they don't. And obviously on this occasion, they'd got permission and they kept Lucy in. At this point, they're still searching Lucy's house. But not only are they searching her house, they're also now digging up her garden. And that applies to her front and back, I think. I'm sure I've seen pictures of her front. Every inch of her property was searched, including the drains and ventilation, everything. They'd even been examining concrete blocks on the broken patio. And it even went beyond the border of her property. There was some scrubland at the back of her house, and the police had even been seen searching that. Then on Friday the 6th of July, 2018, 3 days after she'd been arrested, Lucy Letby was released on bail, pending further investigation. Then everything went really quiet. Apparently Lucy had then moved in with her mum and dad, and she weren't seen again for another 2 weeks. She was keeping a really low profile. And that roughly 2 weeks later was the 22nd of July, and at that point her dad took her in a blacked out car to the police station where she signed in, which were part of the bail conditions. And she obviously knew how high profile this is, because she was wearing a sun hat, she was wearing glasses. She, like I said, she was in a blacked out car. She really didn't want to be noticed. Then on Monday, the 10th of June, 2019, almost 1 year since Lucy's first arrest, she was rearrested. This time, there was an additional 3 counts. And at this point still, the police haven't confirmed that it's Lucy that they keep arresting. Another 3 days on the 13th of June, she was out on bail once again. But then on Tuesday, the 10th of November, 2020, over 2 years since her initial arrest and a year since her last arrest, she was arrested for the 3rd time. But this time was different. The next day, Wednesday, the 11th of November, 2020, a statement from Chestershire Police said, "The Crown Prosecution Service has authorised Chestershire Police to charge a healthcare professional with murder in connection with an ongoing investigation into a number of baby deaths at the Countess of Chester Hospital. Lucy Letby of Hereford is facing 8 charges of murder and 10 charges of attempted murder. The charges relate to a period of June 2015 and June 2016. The 30-year-old was rearrested on Tuesday, November 10, and has since subsequently been charged. The day after that, Thursday, the 12th of November 2020, Lucy Letby appeared by video link before Warrington Magistrates Court. No plea was entered and the case was sent to Crown Court. So the day after that, Friday the 13th of November 2020, Lucy Letby, well, at this point, like the officers just said, is 30-year-old. She attended Chester Crown Court. She spoke only her name. The hearing lasted about 4 hours and it dealt with preliminary matters and a bail application. And the bail application was made private. In other words, there were no press allowed in. It's a very private thing. Then everyone was let back in and it was announced that the bail conditions of a bail had been denied. She'd been refused bail. So the court was adjourned and Lucy Letby was escorted out of court. A few months on the 19th of February 2021, Lucy appeared by video link to Chester Crown Court. There were another one of these hearings on the 10th of May 2021, and she again appeared by video link. But all this is kind of admin stuff. There's no trial taking place just yet, and she still hasn't made a plea. By the 4th of October 2021, Lucy Letby has now been in custody for 11 months, and she'd spent most of that time in HMP Peterborough prison, still having not made a plea or anything like that. But on the 4th of October, this is when she appeared via Manchester Crown Court via video link, and she pled not guilty to all the charges. There were another pre-trial hearing in January 2022, then another one in April 2022, and at some point between them, she was transferred to HMP Bronzefield in Ashford, Surrey. Now, there was another pre-trial hearing in June 2022, but this one weren't just for admin reasons, but it did have some information. This time, her defence put forward that the prosecution were claiming all these attempts of murder and all these murders, but one of the accounts of murder didn't have any evidence to it whatsoever. So before the trials even started, the judge formally directed a verdict of not guilty to be recorded on that count. So instead of 8 counts of murder, it goes down to 7. She again appeared via video link for a pre-trial hearing in July 2022, and then it was finally on the 10th of October 2022 that the trial started and the prosecution opened their case. And that is where I'm leaving this video. As I said, the entire point of this video was to know all the information what happened before, all the run up to the trial. So in the next video, what I'm going to do is we're going to go through each child. Now, we're not allowed to know the names, picture them, anything like that, and nor should we want to. But it is important, in my opinion, that we look at the circumstances, the situation of each child. And it's basically an introduction video, because as we go through court, you'll be hearing about child A, child B, child C. So I'm going to do that video on its own as a separate. So that'll be probably a couple of hours after this one, because it won't take me long to record. And then after that, that's when we're going to start going through the court stuff. Now, we're probably expected that this trial is going to last 6 months, and it started in October. So anytime now, really. So we're going to go through the entire court in the next video, up until where we are, and then I'm going to do updates. So the next video might not be for about a week. It takes long because I look at several different sources for every single court hearing. I'm not just going to copy and paste one reporter's view on it. It will take me a while. I'm going to get it done as quick as possible, but I'm not going to cut corners on it. So that might be another week, but that's what we've got so far. If you have any information that you want me to put out, please put it in the comments. Please message on Discord or my socials. But just bearing in mind, if you are wanting me to put information out, please bring it with a source. Because if I haven't got any trustworthy sources, it's going to be speculation, it's going to be back of a video, and I won't really trust it. That being said, I will see you soon. Take care, thank you for watching.